Welcome back. This is K24 this morning. Second half of this particular discussion at times gets really emotive, even when you talk about the facts and figures that really should be objective. And that's why we want to put this into perspective. In studio, joined by Honorable Kenya, he's the Senator of Laikipia County. Joy Mdivo in studio. Former Machakos Senator Johnstone Muthama also joining the conversation via Skype. Let me get to him because he feels that at this particular point in time, we have a broke government, and that's why we're seeing the circus that is playing out. Bwana Muthama, you've also intimated that it's also a problem with probably the House leadership. If we had a stronger majority leader and chief whip, would we still be where we are? Is that where we lay the blame, with the House leadership in the Senate?
Of course. That's what I'm saying. If today Muthama was the government chief whip or the majority leader, the way I served Kibaki's government, I'll be in front of my president, whom I serve, and the government I serve, and tell him, Mr. President, we have this money, this is the dispute, and this is the formula that you need to apply. He cannot allow Kenyans to suffer because of certain amount of money that has to be reduced. Secondly, where do you find in this world that you have children, you have bought that 1, 2 shirts, you have bought 1, 3, you have bought 1, 4. And the one with 2 is crying because he got less. And you are telling the one with less, because even you are crying, let me take this 1 from you, you remain with 1, and I give the one with 5. That does not happen. There is nowhere where you reduce instead of increasing on the funds that is supposed to go to the people of Kenya. Look at the counties which the funds are being reduced. They are the poorest in this country. And I want to say I come from Machakos County. And Machakos County was earning 100 million shillings. And I heard Mr. Mheshimiwa Kinyua saying that Kabaka was not supporting because Kitui is losing. Yes, of course. Kitui is losing 600 million shillings. Makueni is losing 800 million shillings. If you want, that is 1.4. Machakos is between Kitui and Makueni. So it's Kitui is developing and Makueni is developing. Machakos is also developing beyond the 100 million shillings that is being given. There is no way and there is no law in the world that can be applied. Forget about the Constitution. Forget about what the law says. Look at the issues that are being applied here that will rob the poorest, whatever little they have, and be dished out. What I'm saying is, if Kiambu deserves more money, let the government add that more money to Kiambu government, because even the money that has been stolen from the time Jubilee went into leadership is more than enough to cater not only what is being given, but 3/4 of what is being given. And while we are still on that, the stealing has never stopped. We hear about it every day and every day that comes. So the point is this. Is there any justification to take what is official given to the counties which has remained poor? You take it away on the basis that the population there is below the population, or is lower than or is smaller than the population in Machakos. It doesn't work out that way. We applied this formula when I was in Parliament. It should work. And they should work, and the government should give more money to Kiambu and other counties that deserve to be given more money, even in Nairobi.
Muthama, very quickly, even as I bring this back to studio, I just want to push back because you've mentioned a scenario where we are seeing senators who their counties perceivedly are gaining from this particular formula, but are not backing it. When you look at where one stands as a senator, is your duty to country or to county? Because you've had the debate of speak for your county, let those that have an issue, they have a senator who will speak for theirs. What's your take on that?
As far as I'm concerned, the senators who have been elected, they were not elected on the basis of counties when it comes to service or communities or tribalism. They were elected to come together, preserve and defend the rights of Kenyans, whichever corner they come from or wherever corner they come from. So to get there and go there and allow and sanction robbery that is being conducted on daytime, it is wrong. Then you run away saying I've stolen from Taita Taveta, or I've stolen from Kwale, or I've stolen from Kilifi, I've stolen from Garissa. So because it's being given to my county, I'm happy. It doesn't work that way. History will judge the senators who are standing for that. If I was in that house, I will insist that we move as one team, representatives of the people, and defend the people in the best way possible, and not to miss our agenda at any given time, but make sure that counties are defended, devolution is defended, and government has given more money, because actually the 15% what is given now is not the allocation of this year, is not the allocation of last year. It is the allocation, it is the budget that was signed and approved in the last 3 years. So even what we are getting has already been spent.
Okay.
And we are just getting it in this year's budget, which is wrong. When I was in Parliament, we were about to pass the motion and the bill to change the allocation from the so-called 15% to go to between 20 and 25% if possible. And that is the way they should go, but not to be divided alongside the counties, and then they make Kenyans start hating one another. Won't you tell Garissa people when they see Kiambu people, or they see Muranga people, or they see Machakos people being given more money when their share is being reduced?
Okay,
There's
that's a
no
pertinent
fairness,
question.
and you are not uniting Kenyans. Actually, this formula is dividing Kenyans alongside themselves.
Let me bring it to studio. Joy, the whole principle of revenue sharing is that there really shouldn't be a loser, even as we move forward. And that's the whole basis. As we move forward collectively together. How did this talk of winners and losers get in and become acceptable lingo in how we have to deal with this inevitability?
It is not acceptable lingo. That's why we are still in crisis till now, because it is not acceptable lingo. And I agree with Senator Muthama when he says the people who are quote-unquote gaining or the people who are quote-unquote losing are all Kenyans. And there is no way we can have a situation where one section of the country feels so disenfranchised by the other part. And even the ones who are gaining, how do you celebrate quote-unquote your win, if it is a win, when you can see your brother on the other side is hurting? And that is why I'm glad the senators, despite the upheavals, have taken the time to try and just plow through the issues and come up with solutions that can work. Like, for example, what Senator is talking about, having a delay in the implementation so that at least what you have budgeted, you can meet some of your obligations before the big hit comes in. But let me just bring it back. When you look at the Constitution and it talks about revenue sharing, it talks about equality and equity. It talks about the principles of fairness. And this is not just in revenue sharing, it's in public finance management. And I have opined here before, and let me reiterate. If the 85% that is left with national government was being applied using the same principles, then even the areas that are feeling, that would be quote-unquote losing, would be feeling the benefit of national government development on a more larger scale, and therefore would not be relying almost entirely on what is coming as revenue allocation for the county for development. That is one. Secondly, what the Constitution prescribes, the 15%, is the floor. That means that allocation can go higher. And that's when I join issue with what Senator Muthama is saying, that look, we don't have to disenfranchise others for others to gain. Let us increase what is going to the counties. In fact, the spirit of the BBI talks about moving the floor from 15 to 35%. Now, if we do that, and the government right now is already struggling with releasing the 15%, what happens when we raise the floor to 35%? Therefore, I think time has come, even for national government, to be more cognizant of the fact that there are many Kenyans who, when devolution came, is when they felt the impact of government. And so rather than clawing this back, and I agree with the sentiments that have been talked about now. Let's use the most current numbers for census, because that's why we did a census. On that score, I agree 100%. What my contention would be is that let us use the law to cushion people rather than use the law to cut people down. And we've reached a place where I think the senators have had to now sit down and be nuanced. Forget about the grandstanding and the politics. Now it has to be a reasoned conversation. But moving forward, let me just make a quick point. In my opinion, a way forward out of all this is removing this discussion from both houses of Parliament. Let the division sharing, let the division of revenue be a purely scientific and academic affair done by people who are impassioned in this particular situation, such that by the time you're coming from Dora and you're coming to Kara, there's actually people who are looking at it scientifically and making realistic expectations, because we have seen when our parliamentarians and our senators are seized of the matter, there are forces outside the houses that are also pulling them apart. So maybe if we take this away from them and it only comes for ratification, we might find that there is less wriggle room for holding Kenyans at ransom in the manner that has happened.
Let's talk about those forces, because it's interesting. On the floor of the House, Honorable Kenywa, let's not forget, I can't remember which time it was, Senator Orengo spoke about the fact that the reason why the Senate is where it is because the president was inaccessible. We've heard also during this time where the committee, the 11-man committee, member committee was meeting, that these particular proposals would be taken to the president and Raila Odinga. And some people are asking, if the Senate of its 4 or 5 duties can't deliver it on their own, do we need them there? If they still have to go back to the very executive, they should be, checking and giving a balance to. Do we need the Senate in place?
I like that, but I try to answer that question by saying I believe in separation of power. But because I did tell you that 30% is in the House, basically the scientific part about the formula, and 70% is politics. There's somebody who's talked about, and I think it's the same thing, Mudibo plus Senator Muthama, they're speaking about the counties that have been left behind. If you read the Constitution of Kenya, Article 2 or 4, it provides for equalization fund. And it is specifically to take care of those marginalized counties. And if you read at Article 217, it's very clear, after every 5 years, we are going to have a formula. And this formula, the second formula that was made by Senator Muthama when then he was whip, there were parameters, there were population. Population, they were giving 45%. Basic equal share, they gave 26%, poverty, and the others. They had 6 parameters. But moving forward, we increased other parameters. We say because services, funds should follow services. And there are things that are devolved. For example, agriculture is devolved. They had not provided then, when they were in the Senate, they had not provided a parameter for that. We did provide parameter for that, agriculture. We did provide parameter for health, because these are devolved functions. Once we apply the formula, it is provided in the Constitution that there will be recommendation by the CRA. And the recommendation by CRA is a commission by the Constitution. Once the CRA gave their recommendation and the committee, because at the end of the day, when you apply a formula, and because we have this equalization fund, I want to tell you, Jeff, in this country, for the last 8 years of devolution, many counties which are populated. You go to Laikipia, you go to Nyeri, Kiambu, you come to this Nairobi, you even go to Bungoma. These populated counties, because services go to the people, that is paramount, and this should be known. For the last 8 years, these counties have had, you look at per capita, a person in Kiambu is getting 4,000. Somebody in Lamu, somebody in Garissa is getting about 21,000. Is that fair, even if we are saying that money is taken to these people and this direction? Or what we are saying is that we should give monies to where they belong. Nobody's talking about the other county. When we are talking about equalization fund, money going to those counties, in our countries we don't talk about equalization fund, and we are okay with it because we agree these counties have been marginalized. And that's why I'm telling you, we have said we want to delay this formula for 2 years, so that because they have already budgeted. And we give them time to adjust. Okay. But to be very honest, for the last 8 years, these coming of devolution, these counties that are populated, they have had problems. In fact, I only want to equate it with George Floyd. For 8 minutes, he was saying, I cannot breathe because of the knee. I cannot breathe. I'm going to die. These counties I'm telling you about, for the last 8 years, they don't have roads. They don't have health system. They're saying we cannot breathe. Okay. We can't. And that's why this is the right time for us to come together and agree as a country. Because when we have these revenue coming, when we have these equitable share from the national government, the projection was next year we are going to have 325 billion. The following year we are going to have 331. The other year we are going to have 331. As we proceed, when the cake becomes bigger, we are going to use the formula. And these counties that they are saying they are losing, the problem was it is the language that was used about losing. But so to speak, people are supposed to be allocated the monies that they are deserving.
Let me get Mr. Muthama in on this one as well, because Honorable Kenya has spoken about the equalization fund. And the talk is that even when you look at the scenario as of now, it hasn't been operationalized yet. Very many counties talking about the fact that they hear of an equalization fund. They've never seen this money since the fund began. So even from that particular perspective, the political class being less than honest. You are there talking about equalization fund, Muthama. We're still here talking about it now. Yet the counties that should be getting this money, as paltry as it may be, still haven't yet received it.
The mistake that my brother Kinyua is making is that he is trying to refuse the Constitution. And the Constitution has been defined by those who are trying to implement this position. Once the Constitution is divided and outside issues are being brought in to compromise the position of the Constitution, the equalization funds cannot be realized because it is within the Constitution. And what I'm saying is this. President Uhuru Kenyatta has the mandate to say this allocation of 316 billion, and let us not speak a lot of English and a lot of explanations because it does not help. It's a simple matter, the president to sit down with his Minister of Treasury and the senators and say there is an allocation of 316 billion shillings. Out of this, let us release, first of all, 50% to continue managing the accounts. Why? Because the financial year started of 2020 to 2021 started in June, and this is September, just 3 months ago. So if you give money of 50%, you are just giving between June and December. And that will spoil nothing. The counties will be operated efficiently while people are debating on the remaining 50% to start with. If it comes up to March next year, then another 50% of the remaining balance can be released. So by the time we get to June, issues will be managed properly, and suffering between March and June is not a big deal. Solution can be found. But look at the confusion. I don't understand if we have a proper leadership in this country or we have jokers. Because it is up to the executive to make sure that the government operates to serve wananchi. And if the government is failing to do that, Mr. Kinyua, my brother, Honorable Kinyua, forget about all other issues. There is no implementers. Senators, they are saying, this is the way we want to go. And I'm asking this. If today you are the head of state of this country, can you really fail to summon the Senate that will come to you at the head of state and tell them, this is the way we need to go. Let us now, I will accent to 50% of the funds for counties to be operated. Ile kizungu ingine yote haifai. It is just to confuse Kenyans and try to show that we understand the law, we know what it says. But that does not change the difficulties that are being faced by the counties. Mathematics here are simple. Has the money been allocated? Yes. What is the amount of money? 316 billion shillings. What is the amount in dispute? We want to rob James to give to Peter, and we want those who are being robbed to keep quiet, and those who have managed to run with what they have, they say, oh, I have mine. Even if you rob Peter and kill him, I don't care. That is not the situation. It is simple mathematics of a standard 8 pupil. How much money is allocated? 316 billion shillings. Now, I want to give 50% for the counties to continue while we are debating on the remaining 50%. Even if you give 70%, still you have 30% of that money, which is close to 46 billion shillings. It is beyond what is being demanded to be taken away. Even if you give 80%, still you remain with about 60 million shillings. So it doesn't matter. Okay. There is no logic here with what is happening. I put the blame straight to the executive for its failure to coordinate and manage issues that can help Kenyans. There is no reason whatsoever, unless it goes to where I started from, that the government is bankrupt.
Mr. Muthama, let me get a rejoinder in studio from Honorable Kenya. As you've heard, as they've said at this particular point, we're talking about a lot of math and a lot of English, but it's pretty plain and simple. It's clear cut as it stands. What's your rejoinder to that?
I started by saying this, and I want to repeat again, that the Supreme Court has made itself very clear on this matter, that the county can be given 50%, or you say vote on account. I don't know why there was another opinion from the Attorney General, because if the Supreme Court makes the decision, we don't need any other opinion. With that one I agree with Muthama, Senator Muthama 100%, that we need, there's no reason whatsoever that somebody will be telling our counties that we don't have money, we can't pay our workers, we can't pay services because we don't have money. No. The Supreme Court made itself very clear. Courier attorney is supposed to be dispersing money to the counties, 50%. Because even if we don't need 50%, we need, because as a Senate, and today we are going to pass CARA, we have said we don't have issue with this 1 year. You can even give all the amount as we did last year. Because that one we agree. We are not in any contestation about it. But there's one thing I want to dissociate myself from. Every other time we are saying president should call people, the way Muthama is putting, president should call people, president should do this. Why the hell do we need the Senate? If then it's the president to be calling people and telling them, turn left, turn right, do this, then we don't need the Senate. We need only to elect the president, and the president will be allocating the money. We only need to CRA, it's making the formula, then we, because if the Supreme Court has made itself very clear, Yakuri attorney is supposed to be following it very closely because he was former governor, I believe, and he knows the problem that our counties are going through. All what we need right now is give a vote on account so that our county can continue. As we're going to pass CARA, after passing CARA, we'll have more time. We talk to each other, and I want to agree with him. He said we stop this English and we be honest. Right. And it's exactly what we are saying. The only thing I want to encourage our people is to assume everything. We discuss something, we say the president's idea, the president do. What are we supposed to do as a people? What is my duty? Before he comes, what is my duty? If there is stalemate, if for 64 people, 67 senators cannot agree, then we need the president. The only need I would want executive on this issue is this. Bring the difference of this contestation so that Mandela doesn't lose money, Kitui doesn't lose money, Makueni doesn't lose money, then they are at par. From there, you apply the formula. Once you apply the formula, everybody is happy. But I can tell you, even if you bring them back to normal, then you apply the formula. Because it's politics, there will be this contestation. People saying, I did not get the correct money, I did not get correct money. But I want to challenge Muthama. He's saying in the second generation formula, the one that they prepared. I remember Senator Wamatangi went to court to contest. He was not happy with it, but because you cannot make everybody happy. Okay. At one point, people will complain. I remember he went to court, and I think the matter is still in court because in this country things take ages. Even this one, I want to tell you, I'm going to persuade. I want to tell Senator Muthama, I will persuade Senator Kabaka so that in 2 years' time, he supports the formula so that we move on. Okay. So that Machakos gains, Laikipia gains. Because at the end of the day, as far as he's telling me, I am senator elected to represent the people of Kenya. I am elected, the first mandate is to represent people of Laikipia. Okay. I cannot say, to represent people of Laikipia. The interest of people of Laikipia come first. Then the second, it is the people of Kenya. That's why the first person, the backstops about the people of Kenya, the backstops with the president. Okay. It's not John Kenya. We have 2 minutes to go here. We need our parting shots even as we wind up our conversation. I want to start with Johnstone Muthama very quickly because we're pressed of time. From where we stand right now,
you've told us the possible scenarios that you're seeing the situation as to where we are and why we are where we are. How do you see this playing out as we wind up very quickly, Bwana Muthama?
My brother, I want to tell my brother Kinyua that the reason we have figurehead in every leadership is that figurehead is able to solve any dispute. You cannot have children and you tell them, my children, if you want to share my shamba and get your share, these are the pangas, go there, fight, kill one another, whoever survives is the one who is going to take the shamba. That is what President Kenyatta is doing by telling the senators to debate on the issue that he knows he is supposed to come in and solve that problem. The reason we have the president and we elected the president and the office is referred to as executive, I want to know, is it not just the word executive, but is an office with executive powers. So calling senators to sit down, my brother Kinyua, is not telling the president to go left and right and send it backwards and confuse him. No. We are telling the president, we elected you. We are here at this crossroads now position, and we want you to come out and help us to find a solution. I want to tell my brother, you now this. If Muthama tell Uhuru Kenyatta to give me that seat just for 6 hours to solve the problem of the allocation of the funds, I assure you, it will take me less than 3 hours to have the money sent to the county. There will be no problem. It is failure of strong, perfect, visionary leadership.
That's why we leave it as far as that's concerned. Thank you so much for that, Muthama. Very quickly, 30 seconds each in studio. Let me start with you, Joy. What's your parting shot this morning?
I'm glad when I hear Senator Kenya talking about this is going to be the last time we are going to hear about this, because I agree with him. If you have 4 stated responsibilities and you cannot deliver on one very primary one, there is no reason for your existence. And so today I hope the senators will rise above the fray, will prove the naysayers, me being one of them, wrong, and are going to deliver something that we as Kenyans are going to be proud of. Okay.
Honorable Kenya, your parting shot very quickly.
I believe today we are going to sit in the Senate and agree on issue of allocating money to the county, that is CARA. We're going to pass CARA. So that counties can have money. But I would want to beg and urge my colleagues, senators, we pass these formula so that money can be allocated to the counties, and especially using the current formula, because it's the best formula. It includes every devolved function. And let us not talk about win and loser, because anytime you apply formula, we'll still have some counties getting less than the other, unless you want to talk about equality. But as we are talking about equity.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, that's why we wind up our conversation right now as far as this is concerned. As Honorable John Kenya has said, it will be settled on this matter. He's Senator Laikipia. Thank you so much for making time this morning. Honorable Kenya, thank you so much for your time. Joy Mdivo, thank you so much for making time as well to be on the show. On the conversation via Skype, we had former Machako Senator Johnstone Muthama weighing in on the situation as well. Thank you so much for making time this morning. And of course, for your feedback, as always, sending it in on the WhatsApp number at the bottom of the screen. And don't forget, you'll get yourself your airtime, of course. For those who send those screenshots, you'll get your airtime, all courtesy of the People Daily and Safaricom. So if you haven't gotten all of these stories, get your PD, dial the number *550*4#, download your copy of the People Daily and get fully informed, all courtesy of the People Daily and Safaricom. Short break right now. We're back on the other side. We get interactive. Good morning.